Fear of public speaking. Speaking in public is the most commonly reported fear in the general population. This is from an article by Dwyer and Davidson. Is public speaking really more fear than death? And the answer is yes, it's more common as a fear. Maybe it may not be the biggest fear, but it is the most common fear in the general population. So why are we afraid of public speaking? Well, public speakers fear failure. We fear that we'll look stupid. We'll look stupid in front of our audience. And that's common. I feel that way a lot, right? And also we fear because we don't really have a clear framework to judge our speech accurately. We don't have a clear framework to judge if our speech is actually good or not. So the solution is a framework, and I'm going to suggest mine. I call it story logic. A lot of these ideas come from Donald Miller's story branding, but I call this story logic. Now, story logic, and with story logic, we have a hero who faces a problem, who finds a solution, who takes action, and then gets a result. Hopefully the result, like in a movie, is a happy ending. So in your speech, who is the hero? Well, the speaker is not the hero. The listeners are the heroes in a speech. If we're taking the story logical metaphor, following it, then the speaker is not a hero. The speaker is more like a guide. So in movie language and movie parlance, Star Wars, Luke Skywalker is the hero and the guide is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Or in The Hobbit, Frodo is the hero and Gandalf is the guide. So the speaker is the guide and the audience is the hero with a problem that needs to be solved. And so here's the basic outline for story logic: a problem, a solution, an action, and a result. So first of all, what problems do your listeners face? And secondly, how does your talk solve these problems? And then what actions are you going to call the heroes to take to be able to solve their problem? And then what results does the solution promise? What happy results does the solution promise? All right, so when you give a talk with this framework, you can ask 5 basic questions. What's the problem? What's the solution? And then what are the subpoints? There might be sub-solutions. And then what are the actions that you want the listeners, the heroes, to take? What are the results that they are going to get when they follow the solution and take those actions? And lastly, you want to emphasize the solution, which is your main point of your talk. All right, so you notice what just happened, right? So this video did not just explain story logic. I used it as I talked about giving a talk, right? So again, the problem was, I opened with this problem, the fear of public speaking and the lack of a framework for knowing if I speak well or not, right? And then the solution, the main point is story logic. Open with a problem, give a solution, show a result, call the people to action, and end with a solution again. And as you can see, each of those 5 things are the subpoints to the main solution of story logic. All right, so the result plus your action. Use this framework to plan your next talk, right? So the result is you now have a repeatable frame for any talk. No more improvising with new structure every time. You can use story logic every time you prepare a talk, right? And what is your action that you need to take, that you can take, right? So the bad action would be, oh, let's see, I'm going to try to remember this next time. No, the action is specific. For your next talk, write the problem, write the solution, write the result, and write the actions before you create a single slide. And then end with your solution to emphasize the main point. We fear public speaking, for we have no framework to judge our talks or connect them to what our listeners actually need. So story logic gives you a frame, a problem, solution, result, action, and you can use it before you write your next slide. And if you do, you can speak with more confidence and more power.